Coming up on Bear News, elections are right around the corner. We'll let you know where in town you can drop off your ballot.
The community came together this month for the 10th annual Cans to Candelaria event. We'll tell you how much they raised this year and where all the donations are headed.
Women's soccer had to win both games this weekend to host the Big Sky tournament. But were they successful? We'll have an update later on in sports.
Cooler fall temperatures are finally here, along with an appearance of morning frost. I'll even have your Halloween forecast for you later.
We've got all that and more on this episode of Bear News. Don't go anywhere. If you live in Weld County, you should have already received your mail-in ballot for this year's combined Weld County and municipal elections. It's an all mail-in ballot election this year, but if you don't want to buy a stamp or if you aren't ready to mail your ballot back in time, you can drop it off at one of several locations throughout the county. In Greeley, you can drop off ballots at Trinity Lutheran Church and School, Greeley City Hall, the Greeley Fund office. As you can see on the screen, some of these locations only accept ballots on certain days and times. You can drop your ballot off at Greeley City Hall 24 hours a day until Election Day. In Evans, you can drop off your ballot at the Evans Community Complex starting Friday, October 30th and lasting through Election Day, with the exception of Sunday, November 1st. You can also find other drop-off locations throughout the county by going to the Weld County Clerk's Office Election Information website. The URL is there on your screen.
The UNC Cans to Candelaria annual food drive continues to bridge the gap between the university and the wider Greeley community. The Weld Food Bank is a private, nonprofit organization affiliated with Feeding America, the largest charitable hunger relief organization in the country. Last year, the Weld Food Bank distributed more than 11.5 million pounds of food. Weld Food Bank Communications Manager Weston Edmonds says this food serves more people than some might expect.
It's not really cut and dry of who comes in here. We have about 70% of the households that we do serve have at least one employed adult. So if you would say a majority would even be classified as that working poor. It's people who do have jobs, have paychecks coming in, but something is happening.
The School of Communication brought in the most donations with 73 pounds of food and about $2,500.
This Saturday is Halloween, and whether you plan to make the rounds trick-or-treating, visiting the pumpkin patch, or getting spooked at Fritzler's Haunted Corn Maze, Bear News meteorologist Rebecca Hyken lets you know how tightly you need to bundle up. But before we look at the Halloween forecast, let's see how the weather shapes up this evening.
Currently outside we have nice temperatures in around 54 degrees and it is partly sunny. And throughout the night there'll be some light winds and a little bit of cloud. Will actually be really low, so we may see some more of that frost when you wake up, so be sure to have your ice scrapers out and ready to go. And I'll be back later for more.
Universities and law enforcement agencies across the nation have to report the number of crime offenses, security risks, and fires they've had every year. The UNC Police Department recently released its 2015 Campus Security and Fire Safety Report, which includes statistics spanning back to 2012. Several sections: student housing, fire statistics, criminal offenses, arrest information, referrals for the previous school year. Crime statistics receive the most attention every year. Those statistics include everything from murder and sex offenses to burglary and arson. The report cited criminal sex offense statistics as for non-forcible until when those two categories became four: rape, fondling, incest, and statutory rape. Taking a look at the statistics, the report identified 4 forcible sexual offenses in 2012 and 6 in 2013. Police received no reports of non-forcible sexual offenses in either of those years. In 2014, university police received 4 reports of fondling and 5 reported rapes, all of which took place on campus property or in residence halls. There has yet to be any reports of incest, statutory rape, murder, or manslaughter in any areas covered by the UNC Police Department. In other areas of the criminal offense section, the numbers were steady, sometimes declining and sometimes increasing. Reports of arson in 2012 or 2013, police reported in 2014 on campus property. The numbers of burglaries, vehicle thefts, robberies, and instances of stalking and domestic violence declined since the previous 2 years, some more drastically than others. Reports of dating violence increased by 1 since 2012 and by 2 since 2013, while the number of aggravated assault reports remains the same. Looking at the arrest information, since a single incident in 2012, there haven't been any weapon violations. The number of alcohol violations has steadily declined over the past few years, going from 232 arrests in 2012 to 113 in 2013 to exactly 100 arrests in 2014. But the number of drug violations increased by 14 since 2013, totaling 74 arrests during the 2014 school year. But that number is still lower than in 2012, when police reported 94 drug violations. Housing fire statistics show there was only 1 fire in the last 3 years as a result of a cooking accident in Gordon Hall, causing less than $100 in damages. Overall, this year's campus security and fire safety report appears to show that UNC is consistently improving or holding steady in most areas of the report.
An ongoing visual project called the Clothesline Project bears witness to violence against women across the globe. Last week, the Assault Survivors Advocacy the Clothesline Project UNC. ASAP set up displays in Michener Library and the University Center. They decorated t-shirts with messages including "You will never hurt me again" and "I am a woman, not an object." More than 4 million women experience physical assault and rape by their partners each year. Survivors of assault or loved ones of the survivors decorate t-shirts in the Clothesline Project. ASAP volunteers at the tables in the University Center explained what the Clothesline Project is about and educated students about what they can do. Advocate Stephen Meza says the first step to fighting gender violence is listening.
Like they can learn to listen to people around them more, to see people that maybe have been victims before and that are survivors now, and be able to support them and help them move past the event that happened to them.
You can learn more about the Clothesline Project at www.clotheslineproject.org.
Coming up next after the break, if you've ever wanted to experience another culture while still getting credit-free classes, UNC offers the perfect opportunity.
Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Welcome to my block party. Glad you can make it.
The only triple doubles you get come with fries.
Last time you blocked someone, you were online.
I can do this all day. Your moves are just gay.
Using gay to mean dumb or stupid, not cool.
Not cool.
Not in my house, not anywhere. It's not creative, it's offensive to gay people. And you're better than that.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Football games, bonfires, and fireworks are all part of fun during UNC's homecoming week. So it's no surprise when tons of students show up to participate, but who knew so many UNC students loved bingo? Last Tuesday night, in the Center for Pure Education hosted a bingo night in the University Center ballrooms. Hundreds of students showed up to play for a chance to win a variety of UNC merchandise, while one lucky winner got 4 tickets to Fritzler Stream Acres Cornings. Between games, CPE representatives took a few minutes to educate students about things like consent, social smoking, and mixing drugs and alcohol. When the games were over, students had one last chance to win some UNC merchandise and a dance-off. The impromptu dancers were judged by CPE representatives and audience applause. It came down to 2 finalists who won over the crowd in a final dance-off. Ultimately, both students were proclaimed winners, earning themselves UNC beanies for showing off their moves. If you missed out on bingo, the Center for Peer Education is hosting a trivia night on November 11th from 8 to 10 p.m. in the University Center. Students can test their trivia knowledge and compete for a chance to win awesome prizes. The first 50 students get a free t-shirt.
The Study Abroad program is a cool way for students to experience and study a different culture. UNC offers students a great opportunity to study abroad without worrying about losing credit or dropping a semester. The Center of International Education jumpstarts students by showing them the cool adventures they can have outside the United States. Peer advisor Maggie Devlin says it's an easy way to apply for the program.
And then we also have a 300 word essay, so not very long, but just explaining why they want to study abroad, why it's important, making sure that they have good intentions and understand what a great honor and responsibility it is.
Don't miss what the CIE offers to UNC students. To find more information about the Study Abroad program, go to www.unc.edu/CIE/study-abroad.
Some lucky UNC students are enjoying the prizes they won at Friday's fall edition of the Mini Amazing Race. Teams of 3 gathered at the University Center for a chance at some friendly competition. Participants received clues directing them from location to location where they completed tasks in order to continue. The tasks at each location revolved around a central theme, impaired driving. So beyond the valuable prizes like ski lift tickets and hundreds in Visa gift cards, the event also reminded students about the dangers of driving impaired. And if you want another chance to compete in the race, well, another one comes in the spring.
Coming up after the break, Rebecca has your 5-day forecast.
Stay tuned.
Kids will spend 8 minutes decorating their little brother.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
Welcome back to Bear News. I'm your meteorologist, Rebecca Heiken. Outside, with our current visible satellite imagery, we do have some clouds moving off the west coast, as well as we do have a deep trough that is bringing in a ton of moisture down from the Pacific Ocean and may influence us a little bit later. Looking at the fronts across the United States right now, like I was saying, we do have a trough that is reaching down, although we do not really see it on this map. However, we do have what's left over of another big system that was moving through the United States and did leave a ton of the Great Plains and even into the Northeast from the remnants of Hurricane Patricia, actually, which is now up moving into Canada. Outside, with our current temperatures, we do have temperatures ranging in the 40s and 50s down in Denver and in our area, as well as over in the Midwest, we do have it being in the 40s, and up in Minneapolis, we do have it being around 43. We'll see how that changes throughout the week. For our almanac, we do have today 56 degrees. Now, our record is 83. We're definitely way far from that. However, the average, we are definitely really just going right with our average. And even with our low, we do have it as well. And, well, with our sunset and sunrise, that may be later. But for our 5-day, we do have it being a bit warmer later in the week, with it going up back into the 60s and being mostly, so that'll be relatively nice. Although we do still have those lower temperatures down in the 30s, So be sure to still watch out for that morning frost and be sure to have your ice scraper. I know I didn't. But for our Halloween forecast, we do have it being in the mid-50s and really light winds, so it should be relatively nice. And here, so be sure to be careful outside and don't get too spooked. Over to Ashley now for sports.
Thanks, Rebecca. The football team almost upset now 5th-ranked Eastern Washington Saturday. After the break, we'll have a recap of the game.
All right, give me a spot. You know my motto, safety first.
They could be dangerous. I think we should call animal control.
Animal control?
To be safe.
Don't worry.
Just...
I got this. It's a new motto.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Here's your check.
Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Got it. No?
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Can you say, goal? This is a story of the UNC Bears and the Eastern Washington Eagles as they fight to see who hosts the Big Sky soccer tournament in 2 weeks. The Bears dominated the first half, both on offense and defense. Mario Gutierrez not only scored the first goal, she also assisted with the second one. And those 2 goals in the first half, well, that was it for the Bears. UNC lost momentum well into the second half and allowed the Eagles to score 2 themselves. That left the score tied at the end of regulation, sending the game into double overtime. But neither team could score and the game ended in a tie. This story may not have the perfect ending, but a tie is better than a loss, no matter who you are. Well, the UNC soccer story doesn't stop there. The Bears continued writing their chapters in their book with the last home game of the season Sunday. UNC took on the Idaho Vandals in a battle that would decide if the Bears would host first round of the Big Sky tournament at Jackson Field. The Bears put up a good fight in the first half and held the Vandals to 1 goal. In the second half, the Bears gave it all they had but couldn't score. The Vandals put 1 more in the back of the net, winning the game 2-0. But even this isn't the end of the book for the Bears, even though Jackson Field won't host the 2015 Big Sky Tournament. The Bears have their final regular season game on Friday at North Dakota, and a win secures a second-place conference finish. A weekend in Hawaii proves the fall season has been a successful one for the women's golf team. Junior Bailey Winslow had her best tournament of the season. Winslow shot a .225 with 9 over par. That landed the Bears' best finish for the Bears with a 20th placing. Senior Amanda Myers again played well at the 3-day tournament. She made 14 pars and shot 11 over par for the tournament. She took home a 30th place finish. The team finished in 8th place. Next up for the Bears is the Grand Canyon Invitational in February. The women's volleyball team couldn't claw its way to victory Thursday in Utah. The Bears took on Southern Utah and Cedar City, Utah, looking to win the only meeting this year between the 2 squads. The Bears lost their first set 25-22, but returned the favor in their second coming from a behind to win 25-22. Even though the game was even, the Thunderbirds bolted into action, taking the next 2 sets to seal the victory. The Bears had a quick turnaround as they traveled to Flagstaff to face Northern Arizona Saturday. And that quick turnaround to Flagstaff, well, it didn't quite work out for the Bears. After a loss Thursday, the Bears got chopped down by another Big Sky foe. The Lumberjacks beat the Bears 3-2 to win the only meeting between the squads. Courtney Lockie continued her impressive freshman year, adding 19 kills to her stat book. But in the end, Lockie and the Bears can axe the Northern Arizona. Up next for the Bears, Portland State tonight at Bank of Colorado Arena at 7 p.m. Talk about a nail-biter end to Saturday's football game against Eastern Washington. The game started with a Bear touchdown after 6 minutes of play and a promising look for a solid finish. The Eagles responded with a touchdown of their own, but the Bears ended the momentum with a blocked field goal. Back and forth scoring was the theme of the first half, but the second half is where it got exciting. For the game, special teams had the biggest impact. After failing to convert, the Eagles punted away to the Bears, only to be returned for 75 yards by redshirt sophomore receiver Ellis Onick II. Redshirt sophomore wideout Hakeem Diggs also scored on a 93-yard kickoff return to take the lead. But the Eagles grabbed the lead again and made the Bears fight back after being down by 12. An onside kick gave the Bears momentum to climb back up, but they missed the upset win by 2 points. The Bears played their hearts out, but it wasn't enough in the 43-41 loss. The Bears look to improve to 3-3 in conference as they head to Northern Arizona this weekend for a 1 p.m. game on Halloween.
Coming up after the break, do you wish you had an extra hour of sleep this morning? Well, your wish just might come true.
Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Anderson Cooper. As a parent, you want to make sure that your child knows how to deal with bullying when they see it happening. And chances are they want to help, but they don't really know how. Well, teach them that the best thing to do is calmly walk away, find a teacher or other adult, and speak up. And do your part. Be that adult they can talk to and trust will listen. Join me to help stop bullying. Go to stopbullying.gov to find out more.
You sure you don't want some? It's chamomile. Listen, you are extremely terrifying. Just the scariest undead subhuman thing on TV, and I really mean that. But I am worried that you could give my kids nightmares if they see you, so I'm gonna have to block you. So that's it. Oh, and tell the zombies they're blocked too.
How about that? It's time for your 25-hour day. Serious! Sunday, November 1st is a 25-hour day when most of the country goes back to standard time. Of course, you know that most of the United States springs forward, losing 1 hour early March and falls back, getting that hour back in early November. But we thought it might be interesting to find out a little more about daylight savings time. For instance, did you know it's been around since 1985? It's the brainchild of New Zealander George Hudson, but the first record of it being implemented was during World War I by Germany and Austria-Hungary. The United States used daylight savings time during World War II, but then stopped after the war. The federal government implemented it again in the early 1970s during the early crisis. The original idea of daylight savings time is to use less energy. That's because with more daylight, we burn lights and use heat for the few hours in the evening. Research shows that was true when we used incandescent lights, but whether it's still true with more efficient lights and heating systems isn't certain. Although most of the U.S. observes daylight savings times, 2 states and several territories don't. Arizona and Hawaii don't advance their clocks, joined by American Samoa, Guam, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. So enjoy your extra hour Sunday, and you get to keep it until we switch back on March 13th.
And that's our show for tonight. Thanks for joining us this evening. We'll be back next week.
Until then, stay up to date on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Bear News 98. Be sure to like us.
Have a great week.